Can't imagine what all the interest is in these tiny little pieces of paper.
The governor told us we should ignore it.
Let me just. So I am going to say a few words. I'm going to talk about the documents that we have. Going to give you a little bit of my perspective about what you're looking at. Going to talk a little bit about the work that was done that produced these several changes to the formula that then results in these projections. I mean, the first thing I'm going to say is that these are projections. They are projections of the executive recommended, executive funded foundation formula. There are a whole series of variables in here that we need to project for the 610 districts that are actually in this run. We have to project FY15, which is the year we're halfway through. We have to then project for FY16 and FY17. The actual payments will be made on the actual data that the statute calls to be incorporated into the foundation formula, and those payments will be made at that time based on the actual data. So that's important. First, that's important to understand. Of course, as we're all aware, today we're talking about the proposal the governor has made. We're going to move through a legislative process for 5 months, and I'm confident before July 1 we'll sign a FY16-17 budget into law. I would imagine there will be at least 1 or 2 minor changes, and so it's important to understand that the final projection won't be known until the whole process has stopped, and then of course actual data will get plugged in and actual payments will begin to be made. Essentially the foundation formula that is part of the governor's proposal, it was built working from the funding model that was enacted 2 years ago by the General Assembly. It retains all the same categories as were in place last year, and my testimony from the House Finance Committee sort of runs through and names all those categories. There were a couple areas where we felt we need to make adjustments in the foundation formula. We changed the incorporation of income into the calculation of the state share. And again, the state share is the mechanism that determines, again, stepping back, how does the foundation formula work? It basically identifies an amount per pupil that will be provided to all the students in a school district, multiply it by the number of pupils. There's a total amount that we have determined is an appropriate level of funding for a school district. Local share is then applied. There's local and state shares are applied to that number. And again, generally, the lower a district's capacity, to raise revenue through property taxes, and in our case income, the lower their state share, and the higher their state share, or the higher their state share, I guess, and the higher their state share. And again, when we get to the printouts, we have some columns that indicate what the calculation is for all the school districts, the state share, that state share amount. So essentially, there's three changes that have been made. We made an adjustment to how income is incorporated into the calculation. The income of the residents of the school district. We made a change in the transportation calculation of the transportation formula, and we have a proposed change to transitional aid or the guarantees. And again, each of those elements are reflected into the formula. We also had to set a gain cap, or the cap, make an assumption about that. So we've done that. So that's just little background. The